Now we're going to be talking gold, silver, platinum, palladium, as you can imagine with what's going on, and throw in a little bit about Bitcoin maybe. And I've got to tell you that this is my opinion. This is not advice. This is raw material for your own thinking, and it's all about structure, not tipping or not predicting exactly what's coming up next, or where to get in or where to get out. It's nothing to do with that at all. It's just raw material and opinion for your own ideas and your own positioning. And this is just to stimulate your own thinking and your own investment ideas. So anyway, here we go. Well, what a couple of days. So it's all crashing around our ears, and I'm very glad I'm out of silver. And all those $500 an ounce for silver people, I'm sure, are wondering what's going on. I have no clue what's going on. It feels like it's coming out of Asia. It feels like it was a fat finger yesterday. So maybe somebody put in a big sell order, billions and billions of sell orders, and somebody got the decimal point in the wrong place and did it all at once. And then it bounced back like it would do if it was a fat finger, and now it's going back down again, which again feels like something from a very, very, very large program trade. Because, you set up your program trade, and let's just say it was, 100 billion, yeah? And you're going to be getting out 500 million a day, or whatever, a billion a day, over 3 months. And they go, not in 3 months, but in 3 days, when they set it up. And the algo goes smash down to the price, which is the lowest possible price in that program trade. Because a program trade will say, sell in this range and sell as high as possible, okay? And at speed, that will get us out in so many days. And they go click, 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 and it'll do that. And maybe someone comes along to buy, and so maybe it'll do that. But if you put in 3 minutes rather than 3 days, or 3 days rather than 3 weeks, or 3 seconds rather than 3 hours, it just goes smack down to the bottom price. So it went smack down to the bottom price, and then everyone in the market goes, oh, what happened? Did somebody fall out of a window? Did somebody get blown up? Has a bank gone bust? What's going on? Read the news. Oh, nothing seems to be out there. I think we should buy. And up it goes. And it normally, the shape of the recovery yesterday was very, very much like what happens when there's a fat finger or when somebody gets liquidated. Oh, commercial break. Don't forget an UFN. We've got precious metal real-time prices there, and you can watch it tick in real time for free. And you UK people, we've got real-time level 1 and level 2, and it's going gangbusters. So jump on board before we have to shut the gates and say no more people coming in for a few months because we're full. So anyway, come on down and I'll see you there. On with the show. The shape of the recovery yesterday was very, very much like what happens when there's a fat finger or when somebody gets liquidated, at least in equities. And I used to actually trade that 10, 15 years ago. That's why I used to trade. I'd be sat there waiting for something to break like that, and then make sure there was no news, and then I would buy. But I used to do that with algos and bots and all that sort of stuff. And you would get that sort of shape. But as soon as Asia opens up, down it goes again. So it's something, it looks like it's coming out of Asia. But what? And, I haven't found anything. I'm kind of feeling it might be something to do with Iran. A lot of bad things happened to Bitcoin too. Because yesterday it was all the metals and Bitcoin. And the dollar went. So it was definitely a thing. It was definitely some kind of thing. But it hasn't come out. So normally when it doesn't come out like that, it's because there's somebody has made a mistake, or there's a problem, or something big has happened, and maybe they don't want to say what it is. Maybe there's more to come. We don't know. But this morning, it's down again like a ton of bricks. Now, generally, I would always make the mistake here of coming in and buying now, because, I like that. I like to buy when it does that, try to gauge the bottom. This is all trader stuff. It's all insanity. But now I'm a bit more older and a bit more crumbly and have a little less stomach lining. I'll let it go 2 or 3 days and then see. So after 2 or 3 days, it goes bang, a little bit of a dead cat bounce. Sometimes it goes straight back up like it did yesterday, but it would, and then it'll do that, and it'll do that, and it'll do that, and it'll do that. And so after it's come down and gone like that, now I'm interested. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, anybody who's got metals and gold miners and silver miners, copper miners, gold, and all that good stuff has, and he is sitting on a big profit. Now, for me, having got out of silver, for me, this kind of should happen. There should be a pause here. If we're going to get another leg up in gold to 8,000, it's got to pause. I don't want it to do that, because that means when it goes vertical like it was doing before this, that means we're getting near the end. That's a vertical, and a parabolic move almost always says this is the end of a long-term trend. Now, it doesn't mean it won't carry on. So what I'd expect now would be there to be thrashing around over the next few days, and then a sideways range. Now, where that bottom is of that range is, I don't know, and neither do I care. I'm expecting it to pause here, sideways trade. The reprice that we've been seeing has happened. Now, silver, being the fast horse, has run far away from where it should be, and that will probably pull back, and that will reconnect with gold, I would guess. And I said this before this happened, that silver will pull back and reconnect with gold. Well, and I was saying that gold was going parabolic, and I didn't like that. Well, that's all over now. So what we should see is one of two things. A sideways trend, which means if that consolidates, that we've got a big move coming in a few weeks, months, whenever, which will be the next leg up for gold and platinum and palladium, and maybe even silver will go on that journey too, and copper. Or we've seen the top. Now, that might sound like hedging your bets, but it won't be, because what will happen now is there will be a consolidation. It won't just go straight down, not unless something very peculiar has happened. It will get into a range and go sideways, and that will be where we'll be watching it going, is it going to break down or is it going to break up? And, as long as there's a certain group of people in Washington, the trend is upwards, the direction of travel is upwards, unless, I don't know, what they've decided to sell. They've decided to sell Fort Knox, which, there's edge cases that could mean that gold, silver, and all these things come down. But the main chance is a continual rise in all these metals. Maybe not for silver, because maybe silver's done its thing, but the other metals, because what is really going on in the background is stockpiling. It took me a long time to work this one out, but I was looking at a chart of all the metals, and they're all roughly doing the same thing. Yeah, obviously silver and precious metals have run ahead, but your basic zinc, tin, and all that stuff, all that other stuff, was going on the same pathway. Now, if you think about it, let's just say you're an Apple or one of those companies. Up to now, they've all been operating just in time. Yeah, and they say to their suppliers, stock, not my problem. I just want it on the day. It's your problem. You keep it. You deliver it. That's not my issue anymore. Global supply chains, there you go. You want our business, you take care of all that. Just make sure that 6 tons of this shows up on that day, on the button at 9 o'clock. Just in time. It's a Japanese thing. Well, that's all gone now, isn't it? I mean, you're not having just in time with China now, are you? All these supply chains are shortening. Well, that means you've got to have a warehouse of stock now. You've got to have a warehouse of copper for your cables. You've got to have a warehouse for everything. You can't do just in time, which means that everybody and their uncle everywhere around the world has to put in stockpiles of their raw materials. Otherwise, suddenly, just in time is not going to be in time at all. Not in time. And your whole manufacturing system breaks down. So that is what's been going on with the commodities. And that's not going to stop. That's going to keep on going. And if you look at copper, well, it really is, it's good. It's gone up. We like that. But it's got a lot further to go. So that, for me, is a direction of travel. And the old saying about trees don't grow to the skies is a good one. You will get these corrections. But when they happen, and this is something that is a bit difficult to explain, but mathematically, in these sort of moves, you're either at the end or halfway, and the chances of either is 50-50. Now, you can get your pencil out and work out why that's the case. So right now, right here, the question is, have we had it, or is it halfway? Not for silver, but for pretty much everything else. And I would say we're halfway, famous last words. And now we'd sit here, take the punches, and see where we end up. See if we're going to get a sideways move. For silver, I'm out of silver, I wouldn't get back in. But for gold, I don't think we're the whole way. I mean, you could make an argument for that. When it's kicked off, I would have said this is destination. But things have changed since then. When I actually saw it at this level, there was no particular reason for it being there, apart from a lot of clever people knew. Yeah, and I was just seeing what they were doing and going, what's going on there then? Which is what I use charts for. I use charts to see what the smart people are doing before anybody else knows. So now that I know what's going on, I would say that 5,000 for gold is high, but not what we saw with silver a few days ago. And that would be 8,000 and more. And maybe in a year, that's where we're going to be. And all the other metals are going to go on that journey. But it's not that journey anymore. It's going to be that journey, or maybe that journey. A trend, a non-parabolic trend, will establish itself over the next few weeks. And I think we will see sideways trading, a drop-off in volatility, and then the market will go in one direction or the other, which is down a lot or up a lot. And we'll be positioned for that, because if it's going to go up a lot or down a lot, then there's a lot of money to be made, because when it does go on a ride, it's going to go a long way. So actually saying it's going to go up or down or sideways isn't as hedging as you might think. If it goes sideways from here, when it does go up or down, it will go a long way. And I think that's going to be up a long way. So I'll be sat there watching it. So anyway, that's my take on the current festivities. And I just want to thank my members for being members. And there's more membership videos for you to come soon. And I hope you enjoy the ones that have been. I'd just like to thank my members. And I'd like to say thank you very much for being members. And I hope you're enjoying your special content. And it's a lot of fun making it and interacting with you. Now, FYI, I have moved some of my silver gains into some industrials. And the industrials I've gone into, an industrial, is a company called Fluoro. And this is the thought behind it. AI boom, bubble, etc. It's going to use all the energy on Earth. And for that, they're going to be building nuclear power stations. And, you can go and do your own research on that, and you'll see everyone saying, nuclear, 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 and uranium's doing great. Now, you imagine that you're Mr. Zuckerberg and you want to build a nuclear power station. Not many people can do that for you. And if you're Microsoft, and if you're Google, etc., Amazon, and you want to build nuclear power stations, well, who do you go to? Who do you call? It ain't Ghostbusters. Now, those companies are used to begging for work, and they get a lot of it, but they are cutthroat in margins, and one slip and they don't make any money. And that's the sort of story for these sort of companies. And Fluoro, which is spelt like flower, but like a dyslexic would spell it, is a example of a company that's made a few slips. They're a massive company, and they are priced very cheaply. I don't like to use the word, but I would say they're as cheap as chips. Now, you can imagine after the third Mag 7 shows up and says, could you help us with some nuclear stuff? They're going to start putting their prices up, because you can't just go to rando, house builder and say, can you build a nuclear power plant? You're simply not going to be able to, are you? It's only the people established in that sort of big iron that are going to be able to get on with this over the next year or two. And they're going to be in demand, and their margins are going to go sky high, because they're going to say, oh no, busy. Oh, another nuclear power station? Not so sure. What are you going to pay? Oh, don't think that's enough. Oh, you're going to pay more? Oh, okay, maybe. So that pricing power that's going to come from this is going to mean companies like them. And I understand KBR is another one. I haven't looked into them, but one of the commenters brought them up. KBR is another one. So I've actually got a position now in Fluoro, because nuclear is the future, and rather than buy uranium, which I should do, although I'm sure that's come down. I haven't been watching. I should be looking to buy uranium or some of these clever upstart nuclear companies. I prefer to buy into people that actually do it and do it now. And Fluoride is an example of that. But they do big projects and big project management. If you want to build a huge thing, if you want to knock down a mountain, that's the kind of thing that they do. There's going to be a lot of that going on going forward. So when you look at them and you see, well, they're not very expensive, that's the sort of thing that makes me go, ooh, I'll have some of that. And I've got my position in on that. So anyway, there you go. Update on the craziness and a little explanation on where I'm looking for now. I think that we're going to be in for a few days, a couple of weeks of vicious volatility. And I don't mean that away, I mean that away. And then it will start to calm down and we'll see where we are. I still hold the case that the future is a commodity super cycle. And this is an example of a pause in the repricing of all that and the sort of volatility that comes from fast markets. Anyway, I hope you're all great. I hope you're all doing well. Let's see where this goes from here, and I'll keep you posted with my thinking. Bye now.